Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning here in P3 Nation. Today we are reviewing Fantastic Four First Steps. This is our spoiler review. If you haven't seen this movie, we recommend checking out our spoiler-free review because we're going balls deep in this one.
Fantastic Four.
I know we're late on this one, but the IRS was coming after us. We had to lay low for a little bit. But we're here now, and let's just jump right into it. So this film saw a 66% decline in ticket sales compared to its debut weekend. And I'm pretty sure that has to do with the fact that maybe a lot of people are just kind of over the MCU hype. Maybe they're just kind of like, the peak already ended for MCU and they're just loosely interested. I feel like they're not as invested as they once were during the Infinity War saga where they were religiously trying out every movie, trying to get hints for what's coming. I feel like now the excitement and the hype for the MCU has just died down a lot too. And on top of that, Fantastic Four, they haven't been in the mainstream for a while. And with the last couple decades, the only time they have been in the mainstream is just being made fun of from how bad their movies are. So I feel like the only people that are really excited for this movie were people that are still diehard MCU fans or just comic book nerds who are dying to see a good representation of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I really like this movie. That dip though is kind of insane to me. I do understand what you're saying, but I mean, I just look at Superman. People are watching that movie still to this day, and it's like I think 500 and something million, which is insane for a superhero movie. Because it's not just Marvel, right? I feel like people are just tired of superheroes now. But I mean, Superman is getting so much love compared to this movie still.
I don't know. I don't think it's that people are tired of superhero stuff. I mean, look at Invincible. When Invincible was on, like, it's the talk of the town, like when Miles Morales, the Into the Spider-Verse movies came out, talk of the town. I don't think it's that people are tired of superhero shit. They just want fresh superhero stuff.
So what does that say about the MCU though? Because in my opinion, I feel like recently with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, they've been making a great effort to make quality films. I mean, these are quality movies. I mean, what does it say? Do the suit heads are they just gonna see the decline and be like, nah, let's just start making shit again?
No, because I've noticed a change, right? So MCU doesn't release nearly as many movies as it used to. I think they've realized, they've oversaturated the market. And I'm glad that they've focusing on quality over quantity. And for sure, the last two films have been exceptional. They've been really good, but not a lot of people have seen them. And I think that Superman, being the brand new start to a new franchise, being so bright, being so new, and people being a fan of James Gunn and Superman being such a big character, that people have been dying to see a representation of the Superman that's not dark and emo, like the Snyder ones, I guess. And it's a new universe. I guess the excitement for this is way more palpable than anything MCU.
Right, and I agree with you 100%. I have that lingering fear that it's that people are just that the suit heads, right? That the excerpts are gonna be like, man, why do we need to make quality movies anymore if we're not gonna go see it? That's my fear about the MCU, especially now that they're thinking of rebooting the whole franchise, right? Are they gonna do it quicker? That's just my concern, because I really like this movie and I wish it did better. My fear is that they're gonna just start making slop again, especially since it's so close to the Doomsday movie. Isn't that movie supposed to be like a big event? Isn't this like supposed to be like the last movie before that?
I think Secret Wars is supposed to be what caps off everything. I think Doomsday is supposed to be like Infinity War, and Secret Wars is supposed to be like Endgame. But yeah, I feel like there's not much build up to either of those, especially because this whole most we got was that end credit Doctor Doom scene. That's our first introduction to Doom in this series. But like, are they gonna have future movies to set him up, or are they just gonna keep giving us bullshit or just rush the whole thing? Because the MCU has used a lot of its big hitters, and a lot of its main characters have already run like big major arcs that have met their end, or they've already, I guess, stayed their welcome. And they've been trying to start the new Avengers and all this stuff, but it's just kind of recycled, reused garbage, or just female versions of like the main Avenger with the exact same powers, just like less interesting. And I don't know, it seems like the new direction they're trying to go to is failing. And I think it only makes sense for them to either start all over or just explore the X-Men and Fantastic Four universe. But it brings up what you were saying is like, it's weird. Like, how can I get attached to these characters if they're just gonna get rebooted or recasted in a few years? And I hope that this Fantastic Four does not get recast. I hope this is because this is so new and it just happened recently. They were just casted recently. This movie just came out. Hopefully they stay within after the Secret Wars reboot. Hopefully they stay as the constant and the anchors, right, when everyone else gets recasted. But I guess I get you feel what you're saying. It's hard to have a connection in this universe when you know it's all gonna end soon.
And them being in a separate universe is actually pretty cool because I mean you can do so many stories with them, and I mean maybe that's what Marvel's gonna do, right? Just keep the multiverse but not focus on the multiverse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think because of MCU's really bad Phase 4 and the post Avengers thing, it's been really hard for them to bounce back. But I think they are trending in the right direction with what they've been doing with these last 2 movies. And I think they are trying to build interest towards this new big event. I don't know how successful the event will be because of how little buildup it's really gotten and how kind of last minute thrown together it kind of feels like with their change of plans from Kang to Doom. We will see how it turns out, but I guess I can see why the interest in MCU is a little faded right now. And people might be a little hesitant or just kind of not care as much as opposed to a brand new exciting universe of James Gunn and Superman with everything he's building.
Right, and overpaying Robert Downey Jr. is gonna bite them in the ass because he hasn't shown up in any end credit scenes, anything. Probably because he's stupid expensive, and everything we've seen for Doomsday is just like, what was that ending for Fantastic Four? It should look like Comic-Con.
You know, honestly, I think that Doom mask actually came from Party City. I think I saw that exact same model.
Yeah, that scene was pretty disappointing to me. I mean, it looked pretty cheaply done, and I mean, Marvel hasn't been doing the greatest post-credit scenes in a while. Actually, Thunderbolts was pretty cool. I digress. This one kind of sucked. Sue Storm just gets something from the kitchen, comes back, and little Franklin Richard is there, just fucking smiling and talking to, or not talking, right? It's a fucking baby. But it's just there smiling at Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom has his mask off. And then it clearly shows it to the fucking screen, and it's like a plastic Party City mask. Oh man, that was really bad. I don't know what they were thinking. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, having to pay Robert Downey Jr. so much money probably prohibits them to have him show up on anything else. Because it's like, man, this guy's expensive. So now they have to just like quickly rush and just, you know, I don't know if it makes sense, right?
Yeah, this movie surprisingly didn't introduce Doctor Doom at all, or Victor Von Doom, or like it didn't introduce him at all. It like referenced them like Latveria and stuff like that, but the movie had nothing to do with them. It didn't reference them at all. And by the end of this movie, I think I was thinking to myself like, wait, how the hell did they end up over there like coming in space like the Thunderbolts end credit scene? Which, I mean, that does cause for excitement and speculation. Like, oh, like we still don't know how they got there. You know, everyone was speculating before the movie. Damn, did they just lose versus Galactus? I guess they don't. So we will see how it bleeds together. I hope they introduced it well. I hope that the movie doesn't end up being like 6 hours and it just be full of like exposition, trying to explain stuff that should have been already explained. I mean, this movie was 2 hours long, so it'd been cool if they at least thrown us a bone or something. A little bit of something with Doctor Doom. But the villains we got were fantastic. Yeah, ha 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 ha. But I was happy with what we got, which I will say, I couldn't get into it in our spoiler-free review, but I do have a little problem with Galactus in the third act. To me, he felt a little too weak. I don't know. It felt a little underwhelming. I mean, comic Galactus is obviously absurdly powerful, and I don't think there's a real way to do Galactus in film without it just being like, just snap your fingers, just absurdly like stupid. You know, like some characters are just too overpowered to work in film. So it makes sense, right? They had to nerf him, but still it would have been cool if we saw a little bit more of him doing stuff instead of him just, I don't know, as soon as he got there, I feel like he just getting pushed around kind of immediately. I don't know, an extension of that final scene, I think would have done wonders, especially with more action, seeing more of the Fantastic Four members show off their powers and shit. And it would have been cool to see Johnny do some more stuff with his heat flame, go supernova on his head, or I don't know, anything like that. It just would have been nice to see a little more.
Yeah, I completely agree. Before we move past it, yeah, I mean, writing Galactus in a movie or even comics or anything is pretty hard, right? Like, you have a lot of Marvel writers that are always nerfing him and things. So I understand why they did it. I like how whenever Sue Storm's family is in peril, she steps up to the plate and just completely like becomes the most powerful character in Marvel.
Not only when she pushes Galactus around in the city, but when they first encounter Galactus and on his ship, she just like grabs Silver Surfer and just fucking manhandles that bitch, just fucking throws her through the ship and shit. That's what you get for touching her family. I know, I love that shit.
I do think it's a little silly, but it does fit the comics, right? I mean, Galactus would be kind of like a six-dimensional Lovecraftian entity, like originally the way that he was written. But I really enjoy it. I enjoy kind of how they give him a little bit of humanity. The movie was short, and I wish they added a little bit more scenes with Galactus, kind of talking about his origin and things, right? Because, I mean, they really didn't go through anything. They just really just kind of said that he has an insatiable hunger and he wants to get rid of it. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more scenes explaining how he got there or whatever.
Yeah, I think explaining Galactus a little more would have went a long way, but not too much, right? Because I think part of the mystery of Galactus and Silver Surfer is kind of what makes him so ominous and intimidating and make him feel like such a threat is that you don't know too much about him. But just knowing a little bit more about his origins or how he came into this position he is now, I think would have been real good, like he was saying.
Just have us sympathize with the Silver Surfer a little more, right? Like, maybe I know they had that scene where Johnny was investigating the sounds that he was hearing across the galaxy or the universe. Just wanted a little more, right? Like maybe, you know, if the movie was like 30 minutes longer, you could add like more scenes with the Silver Surfer. I just feel like maybe one extra scene with her would make the ending a little bit more impactful.
Yeah, I think it would have been awesome to explore her emotionally and her character and get a little more insight to her. And like I said, I think it would definitely made her sacrifice feel a lot more earned and impactful. Also, I think we could have got more development with the Thing as well too. I feel like the Thing got a lot of scenes cut. It just feels like he should have had a bigger part in this movie with this side story with that chick. It feels a little underwhelming, right? Where it's off to a great start and her like make friends and stuff, and they have a nice interaction with the kids and then with her and a teacher. And the whole thing of Silver Surfer saying, "Oh, like say all the things you've been like wanting to say, like these are your last moments." And you kind of get that, and he kind of goes to see her, like, "Hey, I came here to see you," but then it just ends right there, and that's all we get from there. It felt a little underwhelming. It's like, damn, that's it. Well, it would have been cool if we saw a little bit more. And I'm sure they're gonna explore on that in future movies, but why not this movie, you know? But other than that, I really liked everything we saw from the Thing. I also liked his relationship dynamics with the rest of the family. It felt very real. Like with Johnny, it was more of a sibling type of relationship, and it was like more best friends with Reed and stuff, and he's more tender with Sue. I just really liked the dynamics between all of them. Like Reed and Sue's relationship, it wasn't just all sunshine and rainbows. They were having real fights and conflict and stuff about like their baby and future. And let's dive into that fight a little bit. I really like how it came up, right? Well, because it's in Reed's character, it's in his nature that he's so fucking smart. He's like cursed with knowledge that he does think of the worst possible shit all the time. Like worst case scenario, best case scenario, what would be bad, no matter how good or how bad or how immoral. He'll think about it and its consequences. He'll weigh everything. It's just a byproduct of being smart. And in this movie, it hurts Sue that he would even think or consider, like, damn, like he's been thinking about sacrificing her own baby that I guess he's been obsessing over, And I also like that too, that he knows something is wrong with him. He tells Franklin himself, like, man, there's something deeply wrong with me, and I don't want you to be like me. I think he knows he himself is a flawed person, and the way he thinks can be detrimental to him and the team. And he puts so much burden on his own shoulders. Like he feels like it's up to him entirely to just save the world and come up with a plan to save everything. Like everyone is depending on him. If there's a problem, he has to be the one to solve it. And he feel like he can't rely on anybody else but himself. But, obviously he needs a whole team, like it's the whole Fantastic Four, the reason they're able to even come up with the idea, let alone succeed in the plan. But I do like that dichotomy of Reed. I mean, it makes sense why there's a whole council of Reeds of just evil assholes like fucking plotting of everything. Well, anyway, none of the relationships felt one note either. They had a lot of different dimensions to them. They all had a sense of humor with each other. They're all very familiar with each other and how they work and think. I really liked it. Johnny Storm was a real highlight too, because he was still very much like, kind of like not necessarily playboy, but he's still very much loved the women, and he was still like all over Silver Surfer. Like, I know what you guys think, I love space and I love women, but they really showed how intelligent he was. Like, he literally like solves and cracks a new language just because the fate of the world is at stake. And like, this movie shows that he's a genius too. He's an astronaut. All these people are astronauts. Everyone here is intelligent. We'll get more of it in a future review of how Johnny Storm was in the previous ones. But in this movie, he was really smart and I think really well written. I still just wish we saw more of him going off with his flames, but other than that, still cool. Because I love that in Fantastic Four media, even in the old movies, Johnny Storm is kind of like their scouter, like when they first see the cloud coming in and when Silver Surfer first appears in this movie, he's just like, Johnny, and immediately Johnny just flies wherever he goes to check out what's wrong. I really like that. Johnny's always the scouter, the one to check out, he's the fastest one out of them all. I really like that.
I mean, yeah, Johnny never hesitates. He was even the first one to engage combat with Galactus. He saw that his family was in danger, and he just immediately started shooting his tubes behind his back. I mean, I thought that was pretty awesome. Just never hesitates.
Nah, bro, Johnny's the fucking GOAT, bro. Like, how even at the end of the movie, he's like, hey, tell Frankie I love him. And he's about to sacrifice himself. Like, he's a real one, man. Have Johnny on your side.
He even wanted to sacrifice himself. He was like, "Nah, take me. Like, is there any way that you can take me instead of Franklin?" I mean, he did have a heart of gold in this movie.
Which leads me into that whole sequence. I think once Silver Surfer first appears, from that moment up until when they return to Earth and have that press conference, I think that section of the movie is some of my favorite in all the MCU. I cannot get enough of that whole sequence. Like, because when Silver Surfer first appears, it's really ominous, like fucking, it's threatening. And I don't know, I wasn't feeling excitement when the Fantastic Four were gearing up to take off into space again. I was just feeling nervous for them the whole time. And then they have that really cool warp sequence, when they go faster than the speed of light, and then they appear in front of the planet, and immediately the planet just gets vaporized and like sucked up, and it turns to nothing. And then they see that giant structure of a ship, and everything just feels so fantastical, so mysterious, and it's like the Fantastic Four, they say themselves like later on, like, we've never encountered anything like this. This is like, it's just out of their experience. They've never seen anything like this. They're used to just fighting like fucking bank robbers and chimpanzees and shit, but this is like their first time dealing with some big hitters, just like in the comics. And I just love that whole transition, how they handled it. And man, that whole escape sequence from the Silver Surfer, fucking cinema. That shit was hard as hell. Like, man, it was like Interstellar on roids, man. That shit was fucking awesome. I honestly can't get enough. I can rewatch this movie just for that scene alone.
Yeah, whoever wrote that screenplay is, he was on something. That was amazing. Just the whole, I mean, just think about it. It's a whole chase scene throughout the universe, going faster than the speed of light. Really shows you how powerful the Silver Surfer is. Like, oh shit, how are we gonna beat this thing, right? How are we gonna beat the Herald, let alone Galactus?
And I love the scene too after where he's on the drawing board and trying to think of ways to defeat Galactus and them, and they're like, honestly, I have nothing. Like, Regis, I have nothing. We've never encountered anything like this. Like, conventional weapons won't work against these guys.
That whole scene is amazing. Not only are they escaping Silver Surfer and trying their best not to die, like right there and there, but they're also giving birth to Franklin Richards. And honestly, it's one of the best scenes I've ever seen, not just in Marvel, but comic book movies in general. I mean, it's like Sergio was saying, that scene is worth the price, and I could watch the movie just for that scene alone. I wish there was more of that, but damn, what we did get was amazing. It's sci-fi, cosmic horror, and just like, it's everything I like put into one.
And I love that the way they solve this problem is to just fucking teleport away or get Galactus the fuck out of there. Like, there's none of their solutions are actually defeating Galactus. It's just either getting him away from us or getting us away from him so he doesn't kill us. That's their whole solution, which I do like. Fantastic Four First Steps was a banger of a movie. I think the whole sequence in space and Galactus and their first encounter with them and the chase scene, I think that stuff is some of the best stuff MCU has ever put out. And I think the rest is good enough. I don't think it's the best thing ever, but I think it's bad. It's good MCU stuff mixed in with that spectacular scene. I still wish we got to see a little more action and a little more development with some of the characters like the Thing. So overall, I think my score might go from, I think, an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, I thought the action was tight. Just wish there was a little bit more action. But everything else was really well written. I like the dynamic between the family. I liked the action that was there. I really enjoyed. It was a really well written story. It was concise, short. I mean, compared to other superhero movies of that nature. But I think it was a good thing, right? I think I'll keep it to the same. An 8 out of 10.
Well, that was our review, guys. Thanks for watching and sticking around. Please like, subscribe, follow, whatever. Really appreciate it. And let us know what you guys think in the comments. We'll catch you guys next time in the next one.